To create the illusion of the large junkyard scene called for in the script, the producers and director Kenny Harlan turned to DreamQuest, a special effects company whose credits include The Lost Boys and The Fly.
And we actually shot this plate. The plate is what we call the part with Kincaid in it. The night that they were all shooting Kincaid for some other shots, we went off to the side, found a dirt patch because that's all we needed, put Kincaid down on the ground there, built a little tower above him, and put some shadows on the ground to imitate cars actually being there.
Next, using a crew of 7 people, nearly 1,000 miniature cars were built over a 2.5-week period. Then Justin and his crew created a spot where Kincaid would stand for the camera to pull back from, revealing the masses of cars.
Kincaid has he was running down this pathway here, and Freddie has thrown all these cars in his way and trapped him in this pit. So we really it was pre-dictated as to where we were going to pull out from. It was going to be this pit that Kincaid was trapped in. In terms of the overall model, basically what we tried to do was do something that would sort of technically fit into our plan. So we pretty much centered this and then built our model around it. So that's pretty much it. This is where Kincaid stands, is right in here, and the camera just pulls pretty much straight back from there.
To achieve the effect that Kincaid is actually in a world full of cars, the previously shot film of the miniature cars is projected into an open space of this painting of even smaller cars.
So what we did is we projected the image that we were going to match to inside here. We then had the rest of this glass. This is all on glass, this painting. We had the rest of this glass to work with. Ken Allen went in and painted the rest of the image that was combined with what went into here. Then what we did is we had a camera then that just pulled back from here, and it appeared as though we were continuing to pull back from the previous shot.
The creation of this spectacular visual effect for which the Nightmare films are famous finally comes together with all 3 elements combined. Kincaid screaming in the actual junkyard, the model car miniatures, and finally, the painting of the world full of cars. Overseeing all of the special effects in the picture is director Renny Harlin. Harlin, who had a taste of directing horror films with the movie Prison, looked forward to making his contribution to the Nightmare series.
I saw the first Nightmare movie I saw in London a few years ago, and I didn't know what to expect when I went to see it, and I loved it. I thought it was like a art horror film, and I saw every one of the Nightmare movies, and when it was proposed to me that I could direct one of them, I was very excited and felt that it'll be a great challenge.
And producer Rachel Talalay was excited about the overall look Renny Harlin could give a Nightmare on Elm Street film.
What I was really looking for in Nightmare 4 was somebody who had a real visual style. All the other films look fine, but they don't have an extra visual style. And when I saw Prison, Rennie's just got an incredible visual style. And what we're getting in this film is a much better looking film, much more camera movement, much more excitement. And that's what we thought we could give to this project that the other ones didn't have.
And Robert Englund's previous experience on Nightmare films was helpful to the young director.
Working with Robert Englund is really great because he is very familiar with the whole series. He can help me a lot by telling what they did earlier and what worked, what didn't seem to work, and there's like a set of Freddy rules in a way. There's like Freddy's own reality where you have to sort of draw from. And working with Robert is really great. He's really professional. He's very patient. Sometimes he has to spend 15 hours in the makeup.
Back to the special presentation, USA's Nightmare on Elm Street.
Freddy Krueger has pulled some pretty cruel tricks on the kids of Elm Street over the years, but nothing can compare to what Freddy does to the character of Debbie in Nightmare on Elm Street 4.
One of the most interesting sequences in this movie is maybe our cockroach sequence, where a young girl who is very into fitness and beauty and that kind of values that seem to be popular among people today turns into a cockroach. Early on, before we started to even prep this sequence, I met a lot of people from a lot of companies trying to find the ultimate guy to design this sequence, and I happened to see a sequence that Screaming Mad George had designed for another movie, and I realized that this man he's mad, or he's a genius.
Playing the unfortunate teenager is Brooke Thies, who looked to another human-turned insect, Jeff Goldblum of The Fly, for some inspiration on playing an insect.
First thing I did was I went and I rented The Fly, the second one, and I watched his metamorphosis of his acting. I think he did a fabulous job in that, and his progression and his movements and his walk. But as I was doing the cockroach, I found that my part was different, because it was almost like he was becoming this thing, and he was a part of it. Even though in the beginning when I had the arms, I felt that Debbie really wasn't a part of it yet, and she didn't want these things on her.
The man responsible for creating the transition of pretty Brooke Thies into a cockroach was Screaming Mad George, whose work can be seen in such films as Poltergeist 2 and Big Trouble in Little China. For George, the process of designing the roach transformation began with the not-so-pleasant study of the little creatures up close and personal.
So we had, we got a bunch of cockroach in the roach motels, and we really inspecting was this close, and it was so gross. I mean, I'm not really cockroach fan, and but it was really interesting insect study. But I mean, it's the art of something, that recreating something so realistic that people get nauseated.
Once Screaming Mad George finished examining his newfound friends, it was time for Brooke Thies to get into the act.
Well, I went and I got a head cast and arm cast, for the thing when I'm bench pressing. And that was just the body cast, and then he did the molds and stuff, and then I kept coming back, and I kept seeing more things, Then, it was like the fourth time I went there, I saw my head, that face that peels off, and I went, oh my gosh. And I kept passing by it, and I kept going, God, this is so weird, my face is staring at me, And then I got into the cockroach outfit, and he had a little videotape, so he videotaped it, and then I got to watch it. It was just so interesting, really interesting.
The horrifying transformation scene begins when Freddy suddenly appears in Debbie's attic while she's working out. First, Brooke is checked to make sure that her new roach arms are in perfect working order. Then Robert Englund steps in and makes his own final preparations as the infamous Freddy Krueger. Director of photography Steve Fierberg takes a last look, and then cameras roll.
One up and to one side on the plate, that's it. Mark. Oh my God! That was great. Beautiful.
For the next phase in filming this scene, Englund must throw the barbells into a mirror strategically placed next to the camera. Not an easy shot for Englund, and not a safe place to be if you're the cameraman. So with the cameras rolling, Englund gives it his best shot. Mission accomplished, and the roach transformation is well on its way to making this scene a good claim for insecticide. But things don't get any easier for poor young Debbie. After running from Freddy, she finds herself smack in the middle of a roach's worst nightmare, a roach motel. For this next portion of the cockroach scene, a simulated roach motel was built on a soundstage in Valencia, California, and was covered with a glue-like substance known affectionately in the business as ultra slime. And while it certainly adds a whole new dimension to the phrase sticky situation, you might be surprised to learn that you may have had a taste of the stuff sometime in your life. Think about this the next time you're munching away on your favorite jelly donut.
Slime is one of the most important things in effects work, and there's a lot of different kinds of slime you can use. This is it's made from jelly donut thickener, kind of. It's a food thickener, basically. And there's some other additives to make it string like this. But it is kind of reminiscent of jelly donuts, isn't it?